Do love a boot room. Come on in, because in here you'll find the very last piece of the Rugby League jigsaw. This, the final major trophy of the domestic season. It's the Super League Grand Final trophy, and fighting it out, Leeds Rhinos and Warrington Wolves. This is home territory. It's like their own bedroom for the Leeds Rhinos players. They've played in that many Super League Grand Finals. Jamie Peacock, the number 10 on his back, this is his 10th Grand Final, more than double the total amount for the Warrington side. Danny Maguire is back, and for Kevin Sinfield, well, he's never been in better form. He was man of the match in their narrow win in the semi-final. For Warrington Wolves, this is a first, their very first Super League Grand Final. And you have to go back to 1955, the year that Lego was invented, to find the last time that Warrington won the league. Another first. It's the first time that the same two sides have contested the Super League Grand Final and the Challenge Cup Final in the same season.
It is such an impressive return for the Warrington Wolves.
Their captain, fantastic, Kevin Sinfield, going in, and you could say that the Super League trophy belongs to Leeds. They've been so successful in this competition. As you saw, though, Warrington really own the Challenge Cup at the moment. Let's have a look at where they qualified from in the Super League table. Warrington taking second spot behind their near neighbours Wigan. They overcame a first-half onslaught from St Helens in last week's semi-final, and if they're successful at Old Trafford, they'll be the first team since St Helens in 1996 to win both trophies in the same season. For Leeds, it's the second time they've made the playoff finals after finishing 5th in the league. Their playoff campaign's been punishing, and it included a one-point win against Wigan last week. Perfect conditions for Rugby League, and great conditions here at Old Trafford for a little bit of pre-match entertainment as well. This sport doing so much to make sure that families can come in and enjoy the whole evening, and Brian Noble and Jonathan Davis alongside me have been involved in the sport for a very long time. First of all, let's talk about the two semi-finals that these sides have been involved in. And I know you watched the Warrington-St Helens match.
Yeah, I think that Warrington have always been very nervous when it comes to Super League playoffs, because expectation is so high, and losing to St Helens in the first playoff game, I think was good for them, because they looked relaxed, they looked confident, and in the second half against St Helens, they just really turned up, picked the tempo up, their ball skills, they put width on it, and basically they just blew Saints away in about a 20-minute spell. And I think it's been significant because Leeds have been nervous in the Challenge Cup final and Warrington in the Super League. And because of that defeat, I think now Warrington are ready for this final.
Because with Warrington, Brian, it's always been a case of pushing the one step further. They've been able to win the Challenge Cup final and then not get through to the playoff final.
Well, I think that element of anxiety that Jonathan was talking about in relation to their performance has disappeared. I think the challenge was to get there. I think they'll be relaxed this afternoon. I think they'll be flamboyant, if that's all right. I think they'll be expansive, and I think they'll go for it. Whether that will get them over the line is another question, because they are playing a champion team.
I think Leeds, you have to have total admiration for Leeds. Again, this year, going to Catalan and winning, and then Wigan and winning. The mental toughness in the playoffs, it's incredible, and the big match players really step up. I do feel that Warrington, on the fringes, maybe have a little bit too much for them. But Trent Waterhouse will be a problem for them, especially when they attack the Leeds right-hand side defence. But, you know, you cannot write Leeds off in this competition because they know how to win. And, you know, it's just going to be a classic.
How significant is it for Leeds to have Danny Maguire back?
Well, he's one of their talisman, one of the old guard, if you like, still at only 28, 29. Him, Rob Burrow, Kevin Sinfield and Jamie Peacock have carried this team for a number of years in the big games, haven't they? My concern for Leeds is quite simply, Jonathan mentioned it, they've gone to the well a few times in the last few weeks. They've gone to France, which is a huge game. At some stage in that month after you play the French, it takes it out of your energy levels. Then they go to Wigan in a game. Let's be honest, they're not expected to win, but they keep finding this tough formula, as Jonathan says. And I just think it might be an energy level too far for them, but they have the ability. I think it's as much about their younger kids, Hardacre, Watkins, Jones Bishop on the wing. I think it's about how they play today and how they can help the old guard with energy.
Yeah, the defence has been great in the playoffs, and I think it has to be a little bit better today, because I know that they will attack on the fringes with Atkins. You know, Hodgson will come in as the extra man, and that will be the key to Leeds winning or losing.
It's a packed house here at Old Trafford. Half Leeds fans, half Warrington fans. They will both be roaring their teams on. Jonathan's going to head up to the commentary box. Brian's going to stay with me. Let's let you enjoy the Super League Grand Final. Dave Woods is the man in the chair.
It's the 15th year of this now, a night that has claimed a very special place in the Rugby League calendar, not least because of these opening moments, the nerve-tingling entrance of two sides seeking one prize. Rugby League's title is up for grabs here again tonight. They might be familiar foes when it comes to big finals, but they are certainly unfamiliar footsteps that Warrington are taking this evening. A first grand final for them. Back on the old patch for Leeds. Well, it's a Warrington 17 that includes prop Adrian Morley on the bench, who played in the first ever grand final 14 years ago now, that day for Leeds. It's the same Warrington 17 that beat St Helens in the semis last week. Leeds have Danny Maguire back. He was suspended for the Wigan game just about a week ago, and they too have a prop with a distinguished long service record. Jamie Peacock appearing in his 10th grand final. And our referee tonight, Richard Silverwood, occupying the middle for the second time on a grand final evening. It is, as ever, a spectacular feel around Old Trafford here tonight. The emotions roar, and they'll get rawer as the night goes on, no doubt, between two sides who put in some class performances between them this season, and who may be about to serve up a classic here this evening. So Lee Breers puts boot to ball for the very first time tonight. Leeds, regular visitors to Old Trafford in the last few years. A first grand final for Warrington, aiming to win their first championship title in 57 years. They've been made the bookies' favourites here tonight, but my word, Leeds know their way around.
Yeah, total admiration for Leeds when it comes to Super League playoffs. They know what to do. A tough road, as we mentioned, away to Catalan, then Wigan. They deserve to be here once again.
Well, expect nothing less than a tough opening few moments here. Both sets of packs looking to get on top. Jamie Peacock, the absolute veteran of this occasion, just about holding on in the end. Burrow from dummy half, who lit up this event last year, of course, helping Leeds come from behind to beat St Helens. Delaney is the man to his feet. Burrow again puts it back, and a little kick from Hardacre. He's got the ricochet and he's got the lock here. It's back to one, so Leeds get a second set.
Yes, unusual for Leeds. Usually see Kevin Sinfield in that position. They're put in the downtown. Very lucky break for Leeds, which gives them a very good attacking position early on in the game.
Here comes Peacock again. There have only been 15 finals. This is his 10th, which tells you how successful his career has been.
That's an amazing stat.
Sinfield puts it back, driven in now by Jamie Jones-Buchanan, who's going to be held up just outside the 20. So Warrington yet to put hands on ball with any real meaning, and Leeds looking to launch this attack here. Tackles beginning to run out though. Avlett's put down on the 5th. Here comes Maguire, carries it in, back to Sinfield, puts the step on, looks to get it away. Luluai quick hands, Peacock has a look around, He's reminded by the referee it is the final tackle, but there's nothing he can do about that. Submerged amongst defenders.
Yeah, he'd be disappointed. There's the ricochet. I'm not sure if he played at that, to be honest, so they were lucky there at least to get it. But very unusual. I thought Leeds would have put the cross kick in. It's been so successful for them this season, especially with their wings. Very good on the cross high kick.
Well, there's Chris Hill getting to his feet. What a season he's had. He was playing with Lee in the Championship this time last year. But a young man who really has impressed over the last 12 months. Mickey Hine from dummy half will have a dash and a dart up to the halfway line. Michael Monaghan on the bench tonight for Warrington, so there will be some swapping and changing in that position, but this is good play, and it might be their first meaningful possession, but they're working it well here, Warrington. Here comes Breers. Westwood's put down. This will be the final chance in this set. Ratchford's at dummy half. Breers puts it high. Tester for that Leeds right side. Ben Jones-Bishop has lost it in mid-air. It's picked up and carried towards the line with real determination by Riley.
I think that's
but it's going to be held up.
Yeah, I think the ball was played at. The Leeds player, they lost the ball. Just watch. Loses the ball there. Kevin Sinfield plays on it. It's picked up by Riley now. A lot of tackles for Leeds to defend.
Well, they love to start games quickly. Do Warrington, as every team does, of course, but a particular copy mark for Warrington. And here's Richie Myler with the opening try of the game. Barely 2 minutes played, and Warrington off to a flyer. Leeds had their chances at the other end, but Myler has taken his, and Warrington up and running.
It's great. This is the mistake, first of all. Jones-Bishop fails to gather the ball. And just watch, they're all watching, all the big runners. And he just takes it on himself. It's an easy run in for Richie Myler. Great play by him. They're worried about all the runners. Dummy runners everywhere. Great finish, Richie Myler.
So here's Brett Hodgson looking to add the 2 to Warrington's opening 4. Settles himself nicely, never any real doubt with that. And Warrington lead by 6 points to 0. Well, it is always a noisy occasion here at Old Trafford. It is always a cauldron, but I dare to suggest it's noisier than ever this year.
Leeds, great supporters. Yeah, and they're accustomed to being here. And of course, on the other side, Warrington, the first time in many years.
Oh, it's a knock-on. It's a mistake, which is picked up by Ben Jones-Bishop. There was another knock-on in there as well. The referee says no advantage. It will be Leeds' head and ball.
I'm not really sure. That's an advantage. You've got the ball. That's an advantage.
Well, Waterhouse is the man who's knocked on.
Yeah.
An unlikely customer. Richie Myler tried to steal it, but the referee says not before the advantage line was crossed, in his opinion. So head and feet goes Leeds' way. Looking for a response, trailing as they do to that Richie Myler try. Here's Hardacre, look at Westwood hunting him out, and Hill's there as well to make sure that Leeds have lost a yard or 2. Luluai slamming it forward. Kylie Luluai. Here comes Peacock, similar treatment. Getting the arm free, but nobody to pass to. This is Burrow. Luluai again, second involvement in this set. Quick hands from Burrow. Now it's with Jamie Jones-Buchanan. They're in decent position here, Leeds. And they still have a couple of tackles with which to play. Sinfield to Ablett, looking to isolate the man on the right, but good effort by Breers. It's a little bit scruffy. Maguire has it. The kick, Riley's in his in-goal area, so it will be attacked back on the 20, is it? Well, the referee says no. The referee says no, it's a dropout underneath the sticks. Well, I thought he caught that on the full.
I think his elbow must have hit the ground, just watch.
Oh, he jumped from the field of play, that's why. Have a look at this, he's in the field of play when he jumps, isn't he?
Yeah. There he goes, up he goes. It's a good effort. He doesn't really care where the kick is taken from the restart. He just wants to, kill that high kick.
So Warrington with work to do. Riley having defused the bomb, but having been held up behind his own line, means that Leeds now have 6 tackles to hammer this Warrington try line. Here comes Peacock with the first run forward. Clattering in, there's some big collisions going in there. Read a piece this week about 12 or 13 40-mile-an-hour car crashes taking place. Every player involved in a 40-mile car crash 12 or 13 times a game. Here's Maguire, little dummy by him. Boy, did they miss him against Wigan last week.
And that's what he's got to do. He's got to ask questions of that defence.
Sinfield, now Luluai. Well, they've got a couple of tackles here. Barrow to Peacock. Peacock puts it behind to Sinfield. Sinfield with the ball over the top, taken by Hall. Forward pass.
Oh, forward pass.
First big call of the game by referee Silverwood.
That's a great ball as well by Sinfield. The vision, takes the ball to the line. He's in a great position. That's the first thing. Just watch it. This is the angle. Just watch where the referee is.
What do you reckon?
Oh, I tell you what, I have seen many tries given. Very, very unlucky Leeds.
Square up, Jeremy.
The Leeds defence is coming up so quick. Just watch him. Callum Watkins leading the defensive line up there. That's what they've got to try and do. Try and force one to come back inside, because that's where they've been cut on numerous occasions.
Surrender. Pass. Go.
Whips to his feet. Here comes Breers on the 6. Decides to run it to the line. Here's Joel Monaghan, who will put the kick over the top now. Mickey Hyam is the man who's in pursuit. There are 3 Leeds players there. The bounce is awkward, and it's rescued by Kevin Sinfield.
Well done, Kevin Sinfield. Again, man in the right position. But just watch the clever play of Lee Breers. Sinfield's injured. Just watch. Good play though, because what happened there? The Leeds winger had dropped back for the kick, so the pass was on for Monaghan. Lee Breers spotted it.
But
Did he catch a knee? Yeah.
Well, you can see the pain written across his face there as he went down.
I think he should be okay, Kevin.
Well, he's up.
Mr. Leeds.
He's up. He's going to be okay.
Trent, move. Okay, come on. Go.
Here's Burrow. Driven in by another man who's fairly fresh from the bench, Ian Kirk. But 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Tony Smith looks on, the first coach to bring 2 clubs to a grand final. He was, of course, the coach that led Leeds here a few years back.
I think they're trying to get Ablett running up Breers all the time. Bit of a mismatch.
Jones Buchanan. Good effort by him. Burrow up from dummy half again, away from the grasping attention of Mickey Hyam, but into 2 more. Hill and Harrison there to put him down. This now is Sinfield. High again. Hodgson and Monaghan. It's Joel Monaghan. It's been touched on to Ablett, who looks for support, and he's got it. He's got it in the shape of Kevin Sinfield. The referee wants to have a look at this again. Was there an offside here?
He's onside. That's the first thing. Definitely onside. He has not touched the ball. Ablett gets it. I thought Ablett could have got there, but great awareness. There must have been a call from this man. And Kevin Sinfield in the right place at the right time. Try.
Well, he's been performing some heroics. Now they're having a look at the play the ball here. Was there a fumble? That's okay. That's okay, isn't it?
That's fine. This should be a Leeds try. He doesn't touch it there. Ablett looks for support, and here he is, the man who put the kick up there, who was injured. Doesn't touch it. That's play on for me. Ablett, this has got to be a try.
Well, Phil Bentham, the video referee, has had a look at all the angles, and he confirms a try for Leeds and for Kevin Sinfield. Is this going to be another of those fairy tale Kevin Sinfield nights? He loves these moments. It's my job, he'll tell you, if you ask him about big kicks on big occasions. And he very often does the job superbly well, as he just has done there, to bring the game back level at 6 points apiece. Well, a significant change being made here for Warrington. Mickey Heimer's gone off, and Michael Monaghan, there he is, has come on, and his first part to play is knock on.
Yeah, trying to force the pass. Very good player, this kid. There's the offload, knock on.
Keep it going, lads, really good.
Really not expecting that.
Bit of a facial.
Here's Sinfield with a feed. Burrow at the back of the scrum picks it up, flicks it inside. Watkins with the initial drive. Well, there's a penalty to be given here because a Warrington defender just put a bit of a knee in there in the tackle the referee's given, and very kickable here. Now, what do you make of that?
Oh, I didn't see anything there. Just watch, where is the incident here?
The referee's saying there was a knee in there. Now, is it?
Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Kevin Sinfield, as ever, a picture of concentration as he aims to land this one. Another 2 points added to the lead score, and for the first time in this grand final, they lead. It's 8 points to 6. Breers again with a kick away. Caught by Maguire, taken on by Kirk. The welcoming committee is there. Here's Burrow.
This typically Leeds, is this performance. Everyone working their socks off, and Kevin Sinfield just pulling the strings, kicking the ball, up and unders, kicking the penalties.
Well, last year, of course, there's another penalty here. That was quite clearly a little high, a bit of a grapple there by Mike Cooper.
Yeah, not really intent there, just a clumsy tackle which will give Leeds field position.
Well, he started with good intentions, but it's where you finish up, isn't it?
And
it's around the jaw.
And in a game as tight as this, Dave, you cannot afford to give those silly penalties away.
Here comes Peacock with a drive forward. 10 metres inside the Warrington half. Burrow picks up and scampers away again. This is Sinfield now behind the line to Maguire. The short one for Ablett, but Breers is there with his shoulder in. Ratchford is there too.
Definitely attacking Breers, aren't they? Making him make the tackles.
Here comes Jones Buchanan.
Again, looking straight at him. What it does also do is when Warrington are attacking, they hopefully that Lee Breers will be tired.
This is Kirk. Held up well enough, but it's a very decent position Leeds find themselves in here with 2 more tackles to ask the questions of this Warrington defence. Peacock, Sinfield, wide to Maguire. Maguire with a pass out to Ben Jones-Bishop, who shrugged off 2 to get over. An improbable scorer from a seemingly impossible position. But somehow Ben Jones-Bishop has found his way to the try line for the second time tonight. Leeds have crossed, and there's trouble for Warrington now.
They go across field again. Peacock, Sinfield. It's a long ball, and you think you've got to use a touchline. That's a missed tackle by Riley. Jones-Bishop just rides it. Just one. The defence is very well marshalled. They go across, there's nothing on. That's a one-on-one. You're supposed to use the touchline. He overreads the play. It's a shrug of the shoulder, and once he comes inside, no one's stopping him.
Sinfield looking to curl in yet another, and he has. He's in one of those moods tonight. 3 out of 3, and Leeds lead by 14 points to 6.
That's 4. Move! Back.
Again, Leeds having to do it tough here. 4 gone. Here comes the 5th, and it's Burrow again who bobs away from a couple of hands. Sinfield with a quick pass, and Ablett can't keep hold. So they have to turn over.
Well, this will be the first time they've had a good attacking position to start from. Great pass again, just overrun it a little bit, Ablett.
Okay, Michael, get in. Okay, back on. Out.
Warrington with a decent position to attack from here. Ratchford taking them on.
Yeah, delayed ball coming out of the scrum, all offside.
But it's a differential penalty. The arm waved by the referee means that they can't kick for goal. They have to take the tap. I'm not sure that Warrington would have gone for goal anyway.
Back. Go.
Here comes Monaghan. Taken on by Waterhouse. Thought about the offload. Decided against it at the last moment. Monaghan again, playing in that blind side. Coming back down to the near side. Myler spinning it away to Breers. Breers back to Hodgson, who's in the line. Hodgson to Rashford. Rashford with a dummy. Saw that with so many Leeds players, didn't fancy the out ball.
First time we've seen Hodgson.
Monaghan. Here comes Cooper. Cooper searching it forward. 5 away. Monaghan. Breers.
Look how quick Callum Watkins is up.
Breers gets a pass. There might have been a Leeds hand there. The referee says there was. It's another set. So 6 more tackles from here. Hodgson put down only 10 metres away. Monaghan from dummy half. Morley will search it forward. Held up. Leeds hanging on here. First real test on their line. Breers with the ball over the top. What a pass from Lee Breers. Joel Monaghan with a catch and the finish. But Lee Breers, a left to right pass, as tough as it gets on a rugby league field. He's timed it and floated it to absolute perfection. And Warrington back in the contest again.
Yes, he slipped the target, gets the ball away. That's the knock on, and another set of 6. But just watch, the rushing defence is up again. But the ability and the vision of that man, Lee Breers, throws a magnificent pass. Just watch, what a ball that is. Crucial time to score for Warrington.
Brett Hodgson strikes this one well enough, and Warrington are back within 2 points. They are back within 2 points. The kick is a good one. Kevin Sinfield drilling it downfield. No mistakes with the catch. There'll be nothing wrong with this. Oh! Adrian Morley. What a collision that was. Rutland and dummy half. They're not square. It'll be a penalty here for Warrington. What about that? And he gets up and gets on with it as if he was playing tig. Astonishing.
It's a big minute coming up here. Very big last minute. Because Warrington will have one more opportunity of scoring a try.
Well, that collision run by Morley is what put Leeds out of kilter in defence and led directly to the penalty, which in turn has led to this position. Here comes Hodgson into the final. 30 seconds very nearly in this first half. Wood spins it back to Myler. Myler on again. Cooper putting the foot down. Can't get the ball away, carrying in the right arm, but they still have a couple of tackles left here. Away goes Wood. This now is Breers with a little kick, and Ryan Hall grateful to Patrick, and knowing that, well, he's given a penalty. He's given a penalty here.
Kick it, you got to kick it. Take the 2 points.
Not square.
Great refereeing. You take the 2 for points.
It all came from that moment.
Ooh, big hit.
What an effort from Adrian Morley, and indirectly they have the chance to level things up as a result of that, don't they? So Brett Hodgson knows that this is a pretty key moment. Kicks this, and we're all square at half-time. Here he comes, Hodgson with the kick. Terrific effort. It'll end what has been a fabulous first half. It's Warrington 14, Leeds 14. Here's Bailey, bashing it forward again. Brian McDermott looks on, wondering what the story of this second 40 minutes might be. Maguire looking out to Callum Watkins. That was the 5th, here comes the last. 2nd minute of this second period. Sinfield puts it high. Oh, he was caught late there by Michael Monaghan. Meanwhile, at the other end, Joel Monaghan has caught it full, but Kevin Sinfield has stayed down. Oh, it's a clash of heads. The clash of heads.
Did he lead with a head?
Boy, do Leeds need that player up and running again in this second half.
Benefit of the doubt, I will say that was accidental.
Well, I'm sure Michael Monaghan will be as concerned as anybody else, just having a chat with Sean Lunt. Say, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that outcome.
Tackle one.
He's up.
Well, everybody will be happy to see that. Kevin Sinfield up. Whether he's 100% fit after that, you very much doubt, but I'm sure he'll be looking to run things off now.
I was actually listening to Neville Southall on Radio 5, and he was saying, look, we've got to stop this diving and rolling about in football. Kevin Sinfield gets a full headbutt in the face, and then he's now up on his feet.
Well, I don't know how Warrington have got away with this, but somehow they've come up with possession again here when it looks as to have been lost. Myler looking to exploit a little bit of hesitation behind the play of the ball, and then kicks away with Callum Watkins in hot pursuit. And Hardacre watches it away.
Crucial push by Callum Watkins. Crucial push. It's all happening here. Crucial push because Riley was on the inside.
We've got a final on our hands here tonight. Make no mistake about that. It's a terrific game between these two sides who arrived here in very different circumstances. Leeds again, of course, having finished 5th, having to do it the hardest way of all. Warrington having finished 2nd, but miscuing in the first week against St Helens, but coming back and finding their form to get to Old Trafford. A first ever grand final for Warrington. And they're learning quite what an experience it can be. Here's Hodgson.
Great chase again.
Leeds looking to pin Warrington back here if they can. Taken in by Joel Monaghan.
Move! All the way. Wait. Keep it quick in the rope, Brett.
Here's Ratchford.
Good.
This is Paul Wood. Sinfield is involving himself in the tackling here. That'll be good news. But he must be in absolute severe pain at the moment, having taken that head to the jaw.
He'll be all right. He's over it now. You know, he's had a kick in the first half in the leg. Now a bang on the head. That's what he does every week.
Michael Monaghan, little skip forward. That's the 5th. Here comes the last. Out to Breers. Kicks against the grain, trying to put the Leeds fullback off kilter, but it's picked up easily enough by Zach Hayde at Hardacre. Oh, he's lost it. He's lost that. And it's going to be picked up here by Waterhouse. No foul play, the referee says.
That's a great tackle. I think it's Richie Myler. That's a steal. He went out to do that. The intention was there to do it.
Ratchford's dropped it, but it's gone behind him. Here comes Breers. Looks as though he might have been caught around the neck, but the referee says play on. Michael Monaghan from acting half. Cooper plays it back to Myler. Myler holds it up and dummies. Looks to trick his way through, but he's dragged down by Delaney. Hodgson from dummy half goes left. And it's going to be, oh, Atkins is in! Ryan Atkins is in! The referee will have a look at this. He doesn't need a second opinion. Ryan Atkins looked for all the world as though he was going to be carried out of play, but somehow he scored an astonishing try.
Crucial steal, just watch him, goes in. Only as a, oh, that's a high tackle. High tackle, penalty. Try shouldn't have been allowed. Knocks it back, but this is the finish. Power goes over the two youngsters. Try.
Well, the Warrington supporters are beginning to believe Atkins' try has given them the lead again for the first time in an awful long time, and Hodgson looking to add the 2 just puts it wide and short, but Warrington still lead by 18 points to 14. Paul Wood taking a well-earned rest. Adrian Morley alongside him. We'll see both of those, I'm sure, back before the game is out. Here's Jamie Peacock, whose game time tonight has been phenomenal. I think it was very nearly just over half an hour he played in the first half. He'll get something similar in this second, I'm sure, as well. Ablett, oh, the offload was forward.
Unlucky.
But
first one.
A high tackle, the referee says. So the penalty goes Leeds' way here.
There's the forward, which is borderline.
High tackle.
And a high tackle first.
Forward pass, but the first offence.
High tackle on Carl.
Not
Ablett.
forward. Well, Leeds have had 2 forward pass is ruled against, so I'm not sure of either.
Well, Warrington with some defending to do here. There's the high tackle on Ablett, which has given them this field position as a result of that penalty. Peacock with a little offload. Maguire dancing into the line. There's a vibrancy about this Leeds attack right now. Here comes Lunt to his left. Luluai with a drive forward. Big surge and an urge by the prop, and another penalty. Warrington offside, So a penalty here for Leeds, another set for them to have a go, and you'd rather fancy them making a breakthrough in this set of 6. Here comes Ablett.
And they go Ablett Breers, that's what they're doing. Ablett over the top of Breers.
Warrington hold out for 1. Still 5 to go. Maguire back to Luluai. Luluai takes it in.
He's fresh on Luluai.
4 tackles to go. Look from dummy half with a short pass, and Carl Ablett pushing his head between the defenders. The arms went with him. The try is scored. Leeds back level again. It was coming. It was coming.
There we are. There's the high tackle earlier on, which gave the field position. And again, the penalty. But they kept their patience, they kept their composure, and more importantly, they kept their game plan. Ablett, Breers, Ablett, Breers, Ablett, Breers, and eventually the big man just scores. Leeds a level once again. But they just keep on coming, keep on coming. They know not the strongest part of Breers' game, especially against a big man like Ablett.
Kevin Sinfield to give Leeds the lead again here tonight. His kicking has been perfect so far, and it remains that way. Leeds edge themselves back in front by 20 points to 18.
And again, Lunt out of acting half-back, can't defend, can't protect Breers. There's the reaction.
Monaghan. Well, Bradley Wiggins was a guest of honour at Rugby League's Man of Steel Awards earlier this week. He's a big Rugby League fan, and he claims this is the toughest sport of them all. And I think what we're seeing tonight is the perfect example of why it deserves that title. Plenty of skill, plenty of subtlety, but my word, there's some big hits going in there as well tonight.
But Leeds have restricted Warrington to play the football, haven't they?
Myler inside for Waterhouse, dropped by Hodgson, but there was a touch by a Leeds player on the way through. So it'll be Warrington's head and feet, or is it? The referee's actually referring this to Phil Bentham, the video referee.
I think it's touched by Leeds.
It is touched by Leeds. It is touched by Leeds. Did he play at it though? Touched by Leeds, yeah. Did he play at it? Knock on, well, big call that is, big call.
Okay, lads, in we go.
Delaney getting a touch. Means it's Warrington's head and feet.
Very unlucky with Delaney, he was going in for the tackle.
Here's Riley.
One. Move! Back. Go.
Mickey Hyam at dummy half. Picks up and scampers away. Warrington making their moves.
Move!
Trying to make their presence felt inside their opponent's half here. Step by Cricks. That's 3. There are still 3 to come. Hill. Good footwork again by the prop forward, but he's almost through. There was a Leeds hand in there, so it's another set. Another set of 6. How big is this moment? Here comes Myler. Waterhouse now carries it in. And he's knocked on. Waterhouse knocks on and lets Leeds off the hook. And Tony Smith, the Warrington coach, can hardly believe it.
Good tackle, Luluai, yeah, big tackle. He has certainly made an impact since coming on, hasn't he, Luluai?
Well, was there a hand in there from...
Yeah, but you got to try and control the ball. You know, you got to make the tackle.
On another night, that might have been a penalty for Warrington. On this night, it's head and feet to Leeds. So many incidents, so many talking points from this game tonight. It's impossible to boil the whole thing down to just that one moment. It's a tapestry.
It might come down to one moment, or Dave, one mistake or one magic moment.
Here's Lunt. Sinfield. Luluai never really got in his stride there. As the The hand in again from Watkins we just saw. Here comes Maguire. He's had a quietish night tonight, hasn't he? Now it's the 6. Sinfield again just drills it downfield. Makes Joel Monaghan turn and work and run and get there, and then when he turns round, a big dropping of the heart in the knowledge he's going to get hit unless he can get away to Hodgson, and he has done, and Hodgson skips on another couple of yards. Here's Harrison. This now is Atkins looking for the outside, but they're going to have to go down the middle here.
Yeah.
Riley. Little stuttering, stepping run. Luluai wraps him up. Peacock's in there too.
Cal. Go, third.
Hill. Good offload again by the youngster. Hyam runs it away!
Ooh, and that great tackle.
Watkins. This is Myler. This is Hodgson. This is Leeds on the rack at the moment. Because Breers, and it's been lost this time by Harrison.
It's on.
And Leeds suddenly have an opportunity to take it the other way. Mistakes aplenty. Bailey.
Move! Trent!
9 minutes left to play. Delaney. The longer it goes, the more the Leeds fans believe that this is their night yet again. Hardacre.
That's you. Move in the line! Go!
Burrow. Watkins. Corridor on the inside. Here's Hardacre. Offloads to Maguire. Maguire has a look. Spins it out to Ablett. Stretching them out wide. Ryan Hall for the corner. Ryan Hall to possibly win it. Brian McDermott might be a grand final winning coach again. There's time for a comeback, but is there heart for a comeback after that try by Ryan Hall?
You can put this down to the defensive effort of Leeds again, but again it comes from a mistake. Harrison knocks the ball on, and just watch, they keep the ball alive, they go down the right, and then it's on. They know they're looking for Breers once again. The long pass, 2 on 2, and I feel that Monaghan is slightly ball watching. Just watch Monaghan, he's ball watching. Ryan Hall gets on the outside. Was he looking after Breers? He's got to look after his own man.
Kevin Sinfield with a kick that could nail it.
Big kick, big kick.
It'll be an 8-point game if he puts this over. Why ever pose the question of if when Kevin Sinfield is kicking for goal on these big occasions? Of course he nails it. And Leeds lead 26 points to 18.
It'll be a big call now for Warrington, especially against this magnificent Leeds defence.
Well, Warrington have gone short and they have to take the risks now, and that particular gamble has come off because they have it back in their hands. 7 minutes left to play, but they have to score twice here. Leeds have a 2-score margin. Warrington have to find their way to that try line on 2 more occasions. Here's Griggs. Boy, is this going to be a finish. Monaghan to Myler. Here comes Hill. Hill takes it in. Monaghan again. Myler. Breers. Dummies. Onto Ratchford. Ratchford holding off Ablett. Ratchford stepping. Up on his feet. Wants to play it quickly. Not allowed to. Penalty. Well, the referee says slow it down, son. Slow it down, son. On my whistle. 6 to go.
They have to keep their composure here now, because they have to score. I feel they have to score in this set.
Move! On the line! Go.
Here's Michael Monaghan. Breers. Back to Hill. Hill to Myler. Myler with a step, one way and the other.
Good feet.
Monaghan, you can see how close they are. Monaghan throws it out. Breers over the top. A touch from the Leeds hand, a knock on by Ryan Hall. It'll be Warrington.
I think Ratchford knocked it on first.
Well, he's given head and feet to Leeds, you're right.
Well, I think, yeah, Ratchford tried to push it on, just watch. He looked for the quick pass.
Let's have a look at that, mate.
Yeah, knock on. Ratchford. The pressure of Ryan Hall once again reads the play exceptionally well.
Well, good call by the referee.
Is that the mistake?
Out. Move. Yeah, boys.
There's an awful lot been written about this Leeds side over the last couple of years.
Magnificent is one.
Move.
And the Leeds fans in terrific voice now. They know how to serenade winners, those Leeds supporters, because they've had plenty of chances to do it over the last few years. And the signs are it's going to be another of those nights painted in blue and amber.
Move. Stefan. Go.
Here comes the final tackle. Burrow's not going to take the risk of the kick. He wants to, the pass rather. He wants the kick. That's a 40-20. It's a 40-20 from Rob Burrow. Just when his side needed it the most. Puts them downfield, head and feet. A match winner if ever you saw one.
A big kick by a big player. What a moment that is. That's a fantastic kick. Takes it upon himself. Sinfield has put all the kicks in all night. Brilliant kick.
So Leeds get their head and feet from that 40-20, and they are celebrating that as if it was a grand final winning try, and it might be a grand final winning moment. The coach watched on, and barely a flicker of emotion. They've got 5 tackles, 6 tackles here.
I think they'll tell you what, wouldn't put it past me now, they're scoring another one.
Ablett drives it on. Old Trafford echoes to the chant of Leeds Rhinos as Bailey tries to drive it in.
If they don't score a try, Sinfield will drop a goal just to keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Here comes Peacock. Held up 5 yards away. Burrow stands and waits here again. Spins it left. Maguire. Not this time, Danny Maguire. Rothborough.
There he is. Here we go.
Sinfield. Corridor opens up. Well, he's put down on the 5th. So there's one more play here. Now do they just dribble this into the in-goal area?
Yeah.
Maguire puts the kick over the top. Well, that's not the best on those circumstances because Warrington have a tap back on the 20 here, and they can get on with it.
Look how quick the defence is set though, Leeds.
Riley.
Move. Wait.
But there are less than 3 minutes to go. Here comes Atkins.
2. Move.
Is there a grand final winning moment amongst these Warrington players yet? But they have to score twice in the 2.5 minutes that remain. Myler. Hyam. Westwood puts it out to Ratchford. He steps back on the inside. Couldn't keep it alive. Tony Smith pointing downfield. Spun away. Oh, there's nobody there. There's nobody there. Hodgson looking a pass out wide. The winger was just on his left-hand side. It flies out of play. And with 2 minutes left to play, it's Leeds' head and feet. Graham McDermott with a smile. He knows he's done it again. He's done it again.
Out. And back on.
Kevin Sinfield has just been confirmed as the Harry Sunderland Man of the Match winner here today.
Head and shoulders above anyone else on the field. Kevin Sinfield has been absolutely magnificent, not only in this game, but in all the playoff matches. He has been fantastic.
Bailey's put down. Delaney from dummy half. Through the hands of Watkins, picked up smartly by Ben Jones-Bishop, but a forward pass, the referee says. And I think Warrington know the game is up now.
Yeah, I think that it's just the defensive effort has been amazing. what they've done without the ball have restricted Warrington a lot of their offensive play. Can't even remember any threat out wide either side for Warrington, and that has been testimony to the great defence of Leeds.
Well, it's just a wall of noise at the moment, and it's a wall that's built with a chant of the Leeds supporters. Warrington having a last go, but that will be the last act. Mickey Hyam sees it drop, not this year for Lee Briers, not in a grand final. He's had his moments in a marvellous career, but he's not going to add this one to them. It's going to be Leeds' night tonight. The clock is not stopped. Neither pack is bothering to pack down here. They're going to let the time tick on.
I tell you what,
into the final 10 seconds. What a night, Jonathan Davis.
Absolutely magnificent. Leeds Rhinos, what an end of season run of playoff games. That's, for me, their best grand final result.
Kevin Sinfield is the man who wins the Harry Sunderland Man of the Match. It is Leeds' year again, and what an impressive, magnificent performance they put in tonight against a Warrington side that were hungry for it, make no mistake about that. But Kevin Sinfield has once again led by example. Leeds the winners tonight by 26 points to 18, and what a performance. It's another grand final win for Leeds, and yet again we need to talk about Kevin. An extraordinary performer at the heart of an extraordinary team. The Leeds Rhinos have just written another chapter of rugby league history.
I tell you this now, of all the sportsmen I have ever seen, this guy is the most impressive. They tried to knock you out, they tried to kick you where it hurts, you got up, you kept going, that was immense.
Big team effort. I'd have thought a month ago where we were, we got an absolute talent at Huddersfield, and to pick ourselves up and keep believing, incredible what's happened tonight.
And you so wanted to go over and thank the fans and also your fellow players, your coach. I mean, such an emotional moment.
Yeah, we've been through it again a bit this year. I think that's our 37th game in total, and we've had some ups and downs along the way, but we've copped some good hidings, and I think the belief stayed. And these people, the whole club, our staff, our office staff, the text message I got last week off them just shows the kind of people we've got at the club, and it's not just the players, it's everybody. And to be able to come here and say thank you to our families in a special night is great.
We've done it from fifth, and we needed to create our history again. People were saying, you finished fifth last year, can you do it again? And I've been telling everybody who asked that question, we had a history last year, we went through a bit and created history, but we need to create more history and another set of history. And what we've just done in the playoffs there, the journey that we've been on to go over to Catalans and beat Wigan in their backyard, and then beat an absolutely outstanding team in Warrington here in a real tough encounter as well. I just feel a very lucky man working with such a good group of people.
It was tougher than last year. Obviously the travel to Catalans was a big factor, but they're just a special bunch of guys, and I'm so honoured to be part of this special team.
Warrington are a real quality side, and we've not beaten them in a final before. It kind of a monkey on our backs really. They've beaten us in the last couple of Challenge Cup finals, so yeah, it was great to beat them coming from behind as well.
I think that's one thing we've got going at Leeds, which is brilliant. The belief in his team, and I've used it this way before, like a big family. We all believe in each other and we all back each other up, so that's all you can give in a team environment, and that's what we certainly did tonight.
It's why you coach, it's why you go through it all, for these moments like this. We have our personal goals, and to have backed up from last year, I've got to pinch myself, and I've been pinching myself for a while.
I thought it was a really good, tough game of rugby league, and at stages could have gone either way, but not to be for us tonight.
It's no place for losers. I think it's a great achievement. We actually made the grand final. The Warrington club's never been to the grand final, so I think it's been a successful year. Obviously very disappointing tonight. Leeds shown again how to win the grand final.
The trophy is lifted for the 5th time in 6 years by Leeds Rhinos. When they come here to Old Trafford, they seem unbeatable. Brian Noble and Jonathan Davis watched it with me. First next question, and I don't mean this to sound a negative because they've been incredible, but why can't they do this at Wembley in the Challenge Cup final?
Oh, I'm sure they'll ask that question when they've had a few beers tonight. This deserves all the plaudits you can give them. That's an amazing effort from Leeds. This is probably their best win in my mind for the way they've gone about it, going to France, going to Wigan, really under the radar in anybody's minds but theirs, and we can see what it means to them. What a fabulous, fabulous effort and an amazing game from Kevin Sinfield.
Wasn't he immense? I mean, I got quite emotional while I was interviewing him. I just admire him so much.
I just thought tonight he was head and shoulders above every other player on the field. Defensively, he controlled the kicking game. He nailed every kick. He scored the try. You know, he was injured, his legs, his head. He was just immense. And I think, as Brian said, Catalan away, Wigan away, and now the favourites Warrington, okay? What they did without the ball was incredible, because Warrington offensively are very, very dangerous, and they've cut teams to ribbons. They've cut Leeds to ribbons a couple of times this year. They've learned from it. The defensive line speed was incredible. We never saw Hodgson chipping into the line. We never saw them giving width. They were absolutely magnificent, and I agree with Brian. It's the best grand final win, you know, of the Super League era.
And arguably one of the best grand final matches. I mean, people were watching this, may have not watched rugby league before, tuning in going, that is something special.
It was everything you'd want: extraordinary skill, extraordinary talent, and the desire that Leeds showed. And let's look there, Warrington played their part, didn't they? At times you thought, here they come. When it got to 40-0, here come Warrington. And Leeds held them out. It was a redoubtable defence. Amazing.
Also, I thought that, you know, when they had their opportunities, they took them. They didn't do anything, you know, with the ball in their own half. They just kicked and kicked and kicked. They knew Sinfield would be there. And then the chances where they had, they took them. They were brilliant tonight.
And actually, if there was ever going to be a hard luck story, Leeds might have felt aggrieved at the try not being given down there when it looked like it was given as a forward pass. It looked very borderline. So no real hard luck stories, I don't think, for Warrington, was there?
No, not really. I think they'll reflect on this game and probably assess themselves as not playing as well as they have all year in the big games. But Leeds didn't let them play. Jonathan mentioned their line speed, their desire. That comes from their desire. And I think they were a bit rankled that they probably hadn't been given the champions tag. We're champions, you come and take this off us, because we're not going to give you this lightly. And all the things that you find about rugby league, the effort, the skill, they took their opportunities. Warrington, a couple of fumbles and a couple of penalties gave them at the wrong time. Amazing effort.
I think you got to just show clips of Sinfield in today's match, and that just epitomises everything Leeds stood for tonight. I think they didn't want to relinquish their title. They came in as a clear underdogs, but they absolutely toughed it out. You know, they deserved it. They were fantastic.
They were hard as rhino skin, and harder than that as well. The focus now switches to International Rugby League on the BBC. We'll be covering the Autumn Internationals. They start on Saturday, the 20th of October, with coverage of France against Wales live on BBC Two at 2:45. With many thanks to Jonathan Davis, to Brian Noble and to Dave Woods, who was in the commentary box from Old Trafford. As Leeds celebrate, we bid you farewell.
Do you know why you got feelings in your